Welcome everybody. In this video we are going to discuss regarding the IPsec IP protocol security and IPsec VPN. In this module, IPsec module, we are going to discuss what is IPsec, benefit of IPsec, IPsec mode, tunnel mode and transport mode, IPsec framework, IPsec protocols, authentication header, encapsulating payload, internet key exchange and IPsec tunnel creation. Let's start with the what is set of protocol and algorithm to used to secure data. It's provide a layer 3 security. It's a combine of different components like security association, authentication header, encapsulating security payload and internet key exchange, SA, AH, ESP and IKE. Let's talk about the benefit of IPsec. So IPsec can protect our traffic with the following features like confidentiality, authentication, integrity and anti-replay. So let's start with the confidentiality. It's encrypt our data by and nobody except the sender or receiver will able to read that data. Now talk about the authentication. So the sender and receiver will authenticate each other to make sure that we are really talking with device we intend to. So authentication happening by signature or certificate. Now let's talk about the integrity. Integrity, it's a calculate the checksum or hash value of the data. So we want to make sure that nobody changes the data in our packets by calculating a hash value. The sender and receiver will able to check if changes have been made to the packet. Now anti-replay. Anti-replay, even if packet is encrypted or authenticated, an attacker could try to capture this packet and send them again. So by using a sequence number, IPsec will not transmit any duplicate packets using anti-replay features. Let's discuss IPsec key points. IPsec can ensure the confidentiality and or the authenticity of the packets. The main key points are IPsec cover two modes of transport mode and tunnel mode. Second one is security association SA and two types of header ESP and AH. Let's discuss tunnel mode and transport mode. In tunnel mode, entire IP packet is encrypted and becomes the data component of a new and a larger IP packet. So frequently used in IPsec VPN. Now discuss transport mode. IPsec header is inserted into the IP packet. No new packet is created. Work well in networks where increase the packet size could be causes an issue. Frequently used for a remote access VPN. Now let's discuss IPsec framework. IPsec frameworks is the combination of IPsec protocol, encryption, authentication and defilement identifier algorithm. So in IPsec protocol you have a ESP plus AH and AH. ESP means encapsulating security payload and AH means authentication header. In encryption we have a three option DAS, 3DAS and AES. It is the encryption protocol. In authentication we have a MD5 or a SHA for authentication choice and DH we have a DH1, DH2 and DH5 for a defilement identifier to drive a share secret. To establish a IPsec tunnel, if we have to establish a IPsec tunnel, then we have to require a protocol like IKE, internet key exchange, and we have for a build IPsec tunnel we have two phases, IKE 1 phase 1 and IKE phase 2. Let's discuss with the IKE phase 1 what happened in IKE phase 1. Two peers will be negotiate about the encryption, authentication, hashing and other protocols and establish the internet security association and key management protocol session. IKE phase 1 is only for used for management traffic. We use this tunnel as a secure method to establish second tunnel called IKE phase 2 tunnel. So IPsec tunnel for the management like keep alive. So we can see that IKE phase 1 tunnel in image. It's used for to secure IKE phase 2. Now IKE phase 2. So once IKE phase 1 is complete, we have a IKE phase 2 that we can use to protect our data. This user data will be sent through IKE phase 2. IKE builds the tunnel for us, but it doesn't authenticate or encrypted user data. So we use other two protocols like authentication header and ESP encapsulating security payload. AH and ESP both offer authentication and integrity, but only ESP support encryption. Because of this, ESP is the most popular choice now for IPsec VPN. Both protocols support two different modes, transport mode and tunnel mode. Let's discuss with transport mode and tunnel mode. The difference between transport mode and tunnel mode. So the main difference between the two is that the transport mode will use the original IP header, while in the tunnel mode we use a new IP header. Here is the example to help to visualize this. So you can see that in PPT. Transport mode is often between two devices that we want to protect some insecure traffic, for example telnet traffic. Tunnel mode is typically used for site-to-site VPN, where we need to encapsulate the original IP packet, since that most private IP address and cannot be routed on the internet. I will explain these two modes in details later in this module. Now let's discuss the entire process of IPsec in 5 steps. First step is initiation. Second is IKE phase 1. Third one is IKE phase 2. Fourth is data transfer, and fifth is termination. So let's start with the initiation. For example, when we are configuring IPsec on firewall, used to access list to tell the firewall what data need to protect. When the router or firewall receive something matches to access list, it will start the IKE process. It's also possible to manually initiate the tunnel. So it's in first step, it's determine the what or which traffic will be encrypted in the tunnel. And the second step is IKE phase 1. In IKE phase 1, we negotiate the security association to build the IKE phase 1 tunnel. And third step is IKE phase 2. So within the IKE phase 1 tunnel, we build the IKE phase 2 tunnel, IPsec tunnel. And the fourth one is a data transfer. So we protect our user data by sending it through IKE phase 2 tunnel. And last one is termination. When there is no user data to protect, then IPsec tunnel will be terminated after a while. IPsec protocol. So AH and or ESP are the two protocols that we are used for actually protect your user data. Both of them can be used in transport or tunnel modes. Let's walk through all the possibility option. So IPsec protocols, authentication header, EH, ESP, and you can use both. Authentication header protocol. AH offers authentication and integrity, but it does not offer any encryption. It protects the IP packet by calculating the hash value over almost all the fields in the IP header. The fields it exclude are the ones that can be changed in transmit. So let's start with the transport mode. Transport mode is a simple. It's just adds sorry, it just add the authentication header after the IP header. Here is the example of IP packets carry some TCP traffic. With tunnel mode, we had add a new IP header on the top of the original IP packet. So this could be useful when you are using a private IP address and you need to tunnel your traffic over the internet. It's possible with the AH, but it does not offer any encryption. Now IPsec protocol ESP. It's encrypt the IP traffic. Protect the IP packet by calculating a hash value. If both AH and ESP are applied to a packet, AH follow ESP and provide all that is offered by AH, and used IP protocol is 15. This is the IPsec protocol ESP, encapsulating security payload. IPsec protocol ESP, encapsulating security payload protocol. ESP is the most popular choice of two since it's allowed to encrypt IP traffic. We can use it in transport mode or tunnel mode. Let's look at both. And transport mode, when we use the transport mode, we use the original IP header and insert the ESP header. You can see that in image, and you can see that we added ESP header in trailer. Our transport layer and payload will be encrypted. It's also offer authenticated, but unlike AH, it's not for the entire IP packets. ESP in tunnel mode. So we use a new IP header which is useful for site-to-site VPN. It's similar to transport mode, and we add a new header. The original IP header is also encrypted. Now IPsec protocol authentication header plus ESP, encapsulating security protocol. So this is one confuse for a lot of people. If it is possible to use a AH and ESP at the same time, let's check it out. First we are checking in transport mode. Here is the original IP packet header, and with the transport mode we will use the original IP header and follow by an AH and ESP header. The transport layer payload and ESP trailer will be encrypted. Because of we use AH. The entire IP packet is authenticated. Now look into we will use a new IP header. AH or AH and ESP header. The original IP packet will be completely encrypted and everything will be authenticated thanks to AH. So, authentication header in transport mode. Here what's that look like in Wiresec. You can see that the protocol authentication header and authentication in between IP header and ICMP header. This is the capture. I took a ping between two firewalls or routers, so you can see that the authentication use of 5 fields. So next header, length, SPI, sequence, or integrity check value. So in next header, this identifies that the next protocol. Here is the example in ICMP. This is the length of authentication header. This is the security parameter index. This is the 32-bit identifier, so receiver know to which flow these packets belong to. And sequence, this is the sequence number that helps against the replay attacks. And integrity check value, this is the calculate the hash of the entire packet. The receiver also calculate the hash. When it's not the same, then you know something is wrong. So let's continue with the tunnel mode authentication header in Wireshark. So you can see that the new IP header, then AH header, and finally original IP packet that carry some ICMP traffic. One problem with the AH is that it does not play well with the net or pad. So field in the IP header like TTL, checksum are excluded by AH because it's no, this will change. The IP address and port numbers are included. If you change this with net, the CVV look in Wireshark related to ESP in transport mode. So you can see that the original IP packet that we are using ESP, the IP header is in a clear text, but everything else is encrypted. ESP in tunnel mode. In Wireshark we can see that the output of we captured is similar to the transport mode. We have seen that the only difference is that the new IP header you don't get to see original IP header. So the only difference is that the new IP header added in tunnel mode. Here's what it look like in Wireshark. AHP and ESP header in transport mode. So you can see that the original IP packet and the AH header and ESP header. So here is the authentication header, here is the authentication header and encapsulating payload. IK, Internet Key Exchange, is the one of the most important primary protocol for IPsec, since it's established the security association between two peers. This is the two type of version, like IKE version 1, IKE version 2. IKE version which was introduced around 1998 and suspended by IKE version 2 in 2005. There are some difference between two versions. IKE version 2 require less bandwidth than IKE version 1. IKE version 2 support the EPA authentication. EPA authentication means it's used for some like preset keys or digital certificate to authentication. IKE version 2 has built-in support for net travels require when IPsec peer is behind the net router. So it is also used for when your IPsec peer is behind the net router or firewall. IKE version 2 has built-in keep alive mechanism for the tunnels. So the list with advantages goes on, but let's focus on understanding the IKE. As explained before, IKE used two phases, IKE phase 1 and IKE phase 2. Let's discuss what happened at each phase, and everything I explained below applies in IKE version 1. IKE phase 1. The main purpose of IKE phase 1 is to establish a secure tunnel that we can use for IKE phase 2. We can break down the phase 1 in 3 simple steps. First step is negotiation. So the peer that has a traffic should be protected will initiate the IK phase 1 negotiation. The two peers will negotiate about the following items like hashing, authentication, DH group, lifetime, and encryption. Uh, in hashing, we use hashing algorithm to verify the integrity. So we can use a MD5 or SH for this. Authentication, each pair has to prove who he is. Two commonly used for a pre-set key or digital certificate. DH group determines the strength of the key that used in key exchange process. The higher group numbers are more secure but take a longer to compute. Now let's talk lifetime. How long does the IK phase 1 tunnel stand up? The shorter time lifetime, the more secure it is, because the rebuilding it means we also use a new keying material. Each vendor use a different type of lifetime. A common default value is 86400 seconds, means 1 day. Now let's talk about the encryption. What algorithm do we use for encryption here? Here we can use dash, 3 dash, or AES. Now step 2, DH key exchange. Once the negotiation has succeeded, the peer will know what policy to use. They will now use two DH group that they negotiated to exchange keying material. The end result will be that both peers will be share the key. Step 3, authentication. So this is the last step for two peers will authenticate each other using authentication method that they agree upon the negotiation. When the authentication is succeed, we have to complete the IKE phase 1. The end result is IKE phase 1, which is bidirectional. This means both pair can send or receive on this tunnel. The 3 steps above we can complete using the 2 different methods: main mode and aggressive mode. Main mode is 6 messages, while aggressive mode use only 3 messages. Main mode is considered is more secure. Let's look at closer look at both hands. IKE version 1 main mode uses 6 messages. I will show you this in Wireshark. I will explain the different fields. So main mode uses 6 messages. This is the message 1. The initiator, that the peer that wants to build the tunnel, will send the first message. This is proposal for the security association. Above you can see that the initiator use the IP like 192.168.12.1 and is sending to proposal to responder IP address 192.168.12.2. IK use a UDP port 500 for this. In this output above you can see that the initiator SPI security parameter index, this is the unique value. This is the unique value for the security association. Now message 2 for main mode in IK version 1. So when the responder receives the first message from the initiator, it will be replied this message. This message is used to inform the initiator that we agree on the attribute in the we have decided in the first message. So you can see that the responder has set its own SPI value. You can see that the initiator SPI value and responder SPI value in message 2. Message 3 in main mode for IKE version 1. So once we our peers agree on security association to use the initiator will start the DH key exchange. So in the output you can see the payload for the key exchange. Message 4 main mode IKE version 1. The responder will send his or her DH nuns to initiator. Our two pair device can calculate the DHZ key in message 4. Message 5 and message 6 in main mode for IK version 1. The last two messages are encrypted, so we can't see this anymore. These two are used for the identification and authentication for each pair. The initiator start. So this is the identification related messages, or these messages are encrypted. IK phase 1 aggressive mode message 1. IK1 aggressive mode only require the three messages to establish the security association. It's quicker than the main mode. It's add all the information required for the DS exchange in first two message. Main mode is considered more secure since identification is encrypted. And aggressive mode does this in clear text. Let's take look at the different messages. The first message from the initiator 192.168.12.1 and to the responder 192.168.12.2. You can see that the transform payload with the security association attributes, DH nuns, and identification in clear text in the single message. Here you can see that all the security association attribution and DH nuns in a single message in message 1. IK phase 1 aggressive mode message 2. The responder now has everything it needs to generate DH set keys and send some nuns to the initiator, so it can also calculate the DH set key. It also calculate a hash that is used for the authentication. So second message is a responder response to the initiator. This is the response from responder to initiator. This is the last message in aggressive mode, IK phase 1. So both pairs have everything they need, and the last message from the initiator is hash that used for the authentication. Our IK phase 1 tunnel is now up and running, and we are ready to continue with the IK phase 2. So you can see that the last message of aggressive mode, IK phase 2 quick mode message 1. We have already discussed regarding the IK phase 2. In IK phase 2 it's used to protect a user data. So you can see that the message 1, it's from initiator to responder to protect using data protected using a encryption algorithm. You can see the message 2 as well as from the responder to sender. It's also encrypted, same as the third message. So you can see that the IKE phase 2 quick mode. So here we can say that IKE phase 2 has completed. We are finally ready to protect some user data. Let's see how this is done. IKE version 2 does not have any main or aggressive mode for phase 1, and there is a no quick mode in IKE phase 2. We have discussed this is the IKE phase 1 or phase 2 related to IKE version 1. It still has two phase 2. Phase 1 is called IKE as a initiator, and IKE second one is IKE authentication. So this is the two phase used in IKE version 2. Only 4 messages are required to enter exchange. Best practice to configure IPsec. So first, use a IPsec to provide integrity in addition to encryption. So use a ESP option. Second, use a strong encryption algorithm, 3-DES and AES instead of DES. Third, use a SHA instead of MD5 as a hashing algorithm. Fourth, reduce the lifetime of security association SA time by enabling perfect forward secrecy (PFS). Increase the process burden. So do this is only for if the data is highly sensitive. In this video, we are going to discuss the difference between policy-based VPN or route-based VPN. So let's start with the route-based VPN. So in route-based VPN, we have to create a virtual interface. Whatever the traffic hits that interface is encrypted and decrypted according to phase 1 and phase 2 IPsec settings. It's a more flexible, more powerful, and recommended over policy-based. To create a redundant VPN connection and firewall using route or net mode, 99% of time we have to use route-based VPN. It's require a static route for a route-based VPN. Now policy-based VPN. Tunnel is specially within the policy itself in action of IPsec. At least one policy required. So if route-based VPN is created with two policy, one for inbound and another for outbound, with a normal accept action. When in policy-based VPN, we have required only one policy itself.